What's up, guys? Hope you all are doing well. Here with Mr. Neil Pickup. We are standing at an arm wrestling table. We've been doing quite a bit of training.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. 4 hard days.
And the people have questions.
Okay.
They want to know.
Good stuff. Let's roll.
Let's jump into it. So this gentleman said, I'd like to know Neil's honest opinion on your future in arm wrestling after he's worked with you now.
No problem. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. When I came over here, I came with an open mind. I'd watched a lot of footage. People don't know, myself and Brian have been talking since before the Eddie match. And we've kept in contact over that period of time. And so I had an interest in Brian. Obviously, we were friends prior to this, watching his progression in the sport. And my major concern for Brian was around his size, because size of that magnitude is a blessing, but it's also a curse, because this table is a fixed thing and it's built to suit somebody 6 feet in height. So when we came over here, I didn't know how Brian would be able to adapt, how he'd be able to move. Now, a couple of really key things there. Firstly, I was struck when I got off the plane and Brian came to pick me up at the airport at the amount of weight that Brian has lost. And he's done that specifically with this in mind, to give him more mobility at the table. And let me tell you guys, it shows, it is evident. We've done, really this is the start of day 4. The first day was more theory stuff, and then we've done 2 good days of movement dynamic stuff. And yesterday was magnificent. Yesterday, Brian was moving really, really well. Actually exceeded my expectation in where we would get to. We spoke about it, didn't we, straight away. I said, if we get to the end of this couple of days, and after that 4-day period, you're moving really comfortably in this environment, pad to pad, we'll take it. You know, we'd take it as this first step. And the lad's delivered. So I think his potential is as far as he wants to go. We're aware that there's challenges. Training partners is going to be a problem, because he's going to be a very, very difficult guy to deal with at the table, let me tell you. Just in some of the movement dynamic stuff, Brian's been pretty fierce there. So the sky is the limit, and I'm going to try my very best to assist Brian and get him to his objective.
What is the most expensive suit jacket that you have worn?
Oh, God. My most expensive jacket was $1,650. Yeah. I'm always a little fearful putting it on. It's one of those that you want to wear it. It's an all black number. Sure. And it's got some jewel encrustments in there and various other stuff. So it's quite a thing.
You're kind of known for your flashy attire. Yeah. Right?
This one's never been out of the UK. I've worn it once at the Giants. Okay. They're usually much cheaper than that. I have a wonderful lady that makes those jackets for me out in Las Vegas.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's
that's awesome.
A bit of fun.
Is Neil officially retired, or will he be back on the table one day?
Okay. In my mind, I am officially retired. You know, I'm going to be honest. Never say never, right? You know, working with Brian, working with Ed, working with people, it does ignite. There's never a competition.
There's a flame there.
Yeah, there is.
There's a flame there. You know this.
There's never a day.
So don't even try to.
Yeah, there's never a day when you're around the table and I don't want to jump on there. I'm limited, as the guys know here. I've got a lot of pain whenever I do anything at the table. If there is a way that I could rectify that, I would. I also think one of the biggest things would be, if my sons ever want to get into arm wrestling, then I'm probably back. Yeah.
Never say never.
Never say never, Mr. Shaw.
Yeah. So the biggest difference, there's a few questions about this. Okay. Biggest difference from training Eddie versus now training Brian.
Okay.
And you could even go maybe some of the similarities, differences.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's huge similarities across that. The guys have a common vein. They have both got a very open attitude to training. For guys that are as accomplished as these lads are, they're both icons of strength. They are extraordinarily open to being coached. They listen intently, throw themselves wholeheartedly into it, both of them, in an extremely similar way. Their approach is different. Both of them don't have a backward step. I'll give you an example. We do a thing called the brush your teeth. It is horrible. You guys will be able to follow it on Brian's channel, and you'll also see some on the arm wars stuff. It's horrible. We put him through the ringer. With all the guys I've ever worked with doing that stuff, the first time they ever try it, only 2 individuals have made it to the end of the song. This is one, Eddie Hall is the other. We trained all you guys here, everyone from Brian's team attempted the brush your teeth. James behind the camera was one of them. Nobody got halfway through the song. Brian with the same weight, the same thing, he finished it on attempt 1. That's one thing they've got in common. Brian is more cerebral, more diligent in terms of the structure. Eddie is extraordinary in terms of his ability to pick things up very quickly. I mean, he told me a story when we were there. He said, you know, I know we've got a limited amount of time, but I'm quite good in terms of athletically mapping stuff. If you gave me a unicycle, in an hour I can ride it. And he really is. He's that guy. Eddie doesn't have the same set of challenges with size, so he's a bit better suited to the table. And as many of you will know, he's reduced his weight for fights. So that does help. But the most exciting thing about that is the similarities between the two and the fact that they're both on Team Titans. So working with these guys, and I know both these guys more than I know a lot of the other lads, so that's going to be great. And I'm genuinely, extremely excited to work with Brian Eddie as a tandem and take Team Titan forward, because the heavyweight division worldwide, you're on notice.
So to piggyback that a little bit, there are a couple questions about Eddie.
Yeah.
And his future in arm wrestling. Will he come back? Was it a one and done kind of deal? Like, you know, there's people that are asking that because obviously he's got the fight coming up, that type of thing. So, you know, in your conversations with him, you know, his interest level, does he want to come back and train? And I think the answer is yes to that.
100%, mate. Yeah. I mean, Ed is very distracted at the moment with the fight. He's fighting Mariusz Pudzianowski in the end of April. And we've already spoken on the phone, and immediately following that, we're back in training. We know that Brian and Eddie are coming over for a Titan house. We're going to put these guys in for a week in a house, and we're going to get over. Some guys are going to assist them in terms of their structure, the size, and we're going to just keep bolting elements onto the game constantly. It's interesting because Eddie's stepping away for a little while, and me managing to get over here and do some work with Brian, which we hadn't previously. It's just a date thing, wasn't it? We couldn't get the date.
Trying to lock it down.
It's kind of leveled you up in terms of where you're at in the sport. The amount of things we'll have covered. Myself and Brian are going to be working together again in Arlington, at the East versus West. That's excellent. So the next time we meet up, Eddie and Brian are going to be pretty much parity in terms of what they've been exposed to. So that gives us a great opportunity. We can then start to track them at the same time. And they'll progress at different rates in different areas, but it's really good. It's married up lovely.
All right, so Neil, as you can imagine, in this question answer, there are a lot of questions on your opinion, me, future, what can I do? And of course, there's one name that keeps coming up, Levon. Levon, right? Does Brian have any chance in the future of being able to challenge Levon? And that's what, I mean, everybody obviously coming into the sport, that's where it goes. That's the question. People know how competitive I am, the drive that I have. If I start something, I want to try to be as good as I possibly can be. And the target is to be the best. So you're, in your opinion, it's, you know, is there a chance? And, you know, I mean, there's a runway to get to something like that. But I want to hear, you know, because we've talked briefly about it, but.
My honest opinion is that you are able to go as far as you want to go in the sport of arm wrestling. If you choose to stick with it and to put in the effort, the time, and the dedication, there is no reason why you're not capable of doing something with Levon. for sure. If you look at the underpinnings of the sport, it is strength, it is movement, it is technique. We're working on the technique. The strength will come. Brian is obviously as versed as anyone to draw breath on how to get strong, quite clearly. We've got 4 world's strongest man trophies right over here. Yeah. Who knows? I don't ever think that it's my or anybody else's business telling a guy like Brian what you can and cannot do. If he chooses to do that, there is no reason that at some point down the track, there will be an intersection. It's going to take time. Levon's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing just to touch on is you have to respect the level that he is at and the benchmark that he has set.
Just to let people know a little bit, there are a lot of things that people probably aren't thinking about. Levon is not just about the power. He is a package. He represents the best package we've seen in arm wrestling in the super heavyweight division. He's probably, in my opinion, the pinnacle of super heavyweight arm wrestling ever. And that is because he's a fabulous arm wrestler, extremely well-rounded. He's got all the boxes ticked there. And that's been made by his commitment and determination, dedication to the sport. He's mentally geared up to achieve what he's achieved. All of those things that I've mentioned there can be mirrored by Brian. There are other challenges. One of the biggest ones that really benefits Levon is that he's based in Tbilisi, Georgia. The sport is looked at culturally differently over there. So he's surrounded by a pack of wolves. And he's training with these guys all the time, very, very frequently. And they are giving him an incredible amount of different looks. And we're talking a crew 20 deep that are incredible hook pullers, incredible top rollers, the best in the world in that environment. So what we're going to try to do is utilize that as our coach. And we're going to try to bring in people to work with Brian that are going to try to emulate that. We may go on the road with a lot of looks to achieving that, but we're very aware of the restrictions and we're going to match them.
And some of that might actually be training with Levon.
Absolutely.
Right? There's
Why
some
not?
questions about that. I'm trying to group questions together, but there are some questions about that, and that's actually something Levon and I talked about.
Sure.
Right? Like I think that would be wonderful. So,
Certainly.
Yeah. Neil, lots of questions about next opponent. Next opponent. Everybody is questioning that, saying when, who, how is it going to happen? And I have said to them, it will be going down at the Shaw Classic.
Yep.
I will have a match there for sure. And several opponents we are thinking about.
We've looked at
Yeah.
a number of guys, discussed them in basic terms. And to be honest, I think the best approach to that is all you guys want to see Brian progress. You want to follow that journey. And it's going to be quite a complex thing. We're going to look at developing in certain areas, and he will get better in certain areas quicker than others. So probably the smartest approach, I think, like we talked about the other day, is kind of managing Brian's career a bit like you would with a fighter. So you take on a guy who's going to test him in a certain environment and see how he performs there. If Brian loses against that guy, then we look at how he lost, where he lost, and we try to improve and sharpen that area of his game. And so in these initial instances, I want to depressurize the whole thing and look at taking matches which are going to yield technical benefit for you. And I think that's by far the best approach. Too many times you come into a sport when you've not got any experience there and you get thrown to the wolves because of your pedigree in other areas. We can't let Brian, Eddie and these guys, we can't sacrifice them like that. Let the guys build their career in the way that you guys would at home. You'd go to tournaments and you'd level up. We're going to do that, but we're going to do it in a very structured manner.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I can't wait, man.
It's going to be fun. And that announcement will be coming soon as well, because everybody's excited for that. Who is the better coach out of Devon and Neil? So here's what I'm going to say. I have obviously got to work with Devon. Now he's been here twice, 2 different times. Okay. And then Neil's been here once. And what I will say is there is a lot of differences between what Devon does, what Neil does, and especially the way that they kind of walk me through it and how they have walked me through it. You know, Devon was much more of get on the table and kind of show what he was doing and like coach me as I was moving and how to apply different pressures and that type of thing. I think with Devon, after working with Neil, I think what happened is we kind of jumped in more at level 10 probably than, and my basic fundamentals just weren't there. They just weren't there. So we were jumping in at a level where I understood what Devon was saying and what he was trying to do. I just didn't quite know maybe how to get there appropriately and how to move. And so I think from a foundation level, what Neil and I have been able to do to get me moving better especially, but to start to lay that foundation down is massively impactful. So different coaching approaches. And in all fairness, like, I don't know, when Devon came out here, Devon never ever said really like, oh, I'm Brian's coach.
No.
Right?
No.
He never really has said that or taken on that role. He just said, hey, I'm going to give you some stuff. If you can use it, right? Like, I'm going to try to help. And I would love to and plan on actually still working with Devon in the future, picking his brain, especially as my fundamentals develop a little bit more. So very different, you know, coaching styles, if you want to call that. But, you know, Devon is very unique.
He's magnificent.
He's unbelievable in so many different areas. And so I know there's a lot of layers there.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so as we peel the layers back, it's going to be fun to learn. But from a basic foundational standpoint, what I have done with Neil has made a massive impact on the way that I'm going to approach everything that I'm going to do.
And to sort of add to that, it's funny because, I mean, Devon had 4 days with you, which I've had the same here. Devon's been in a situation where he's very much alive now in the sport and he's working within the sport. So he's harnessed to, and he's also on his own journey.
Of course.
The other thing with Devon is he's got a tremendous amount of physical advantages. So sometimes, and strength. Devon, the reason I gave him the No Limits name is that, because of he's got it all. The benefit there is that you don't necessarily have to be as versed in different areas. You can do a lot of things and some of the areas will come easier for you because of your natural leverage. Now the benefit down the road is that Devon is actually nearer to your stats than I am. So there's a great deal that will help Brian because of Devon's size. So Devon and studying Devon is one of the routes that I would utilize to assist Brian because Devon's exceptional. I'll watch Devon, I'll internalize what Devon does. So in a way, Devon is my coach to coach Brian. And sometimes when Devon is going into areas, he might seek my advice to give him a little bit of a, what do you think about this, Neil? We bounce ideas off each other all the time. Dev's one of my closest friends in and out of the sport. So, Devon's amazing. He's a fantastic arm wrestler. And we'll be working with him, I'm sure, for as long as he's happy to do it.
Well, I'm glad that both of you guys are in my corner for sure. It's massive help, and you know, it's going to be fun to learn, like you said. You know, bring him in and have a lot of fun. Did you know when Devon was here that he wasn't 300 pounds? Did you know that?
I had heard mention, mate.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that it's better if you've got a 4.
A 4.
That's what you want, really.
The problem is now I'm back with the 3.
You're back
and
in the 3?
That was my line with Devon, my hard line with Devon.
Don't lie to him.
Yeah, I know. And now I don't know if he still has a 3. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, he was big.
He was
big. He
was very low. Yeah, very low 3s.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not a 310. Is it really a 3?
Yeah, it's got to be over the 350 to class as a 3, really.
I mean, really,
solid 3.
If you go into rounding, right, like you could round up or down. So if you're maybe above 350, then you're definitely in.
Do you think he'll go further? Do you think
Can you imagine Devon at
he rolled
350? At 350,
Yeah.
based on how he looked in Georgia.
So what did he get to? He got to like what? Was he about 315? There or there?
No, I don't think
What
he
did
got
weigh?
that heavy. 330. Wasn't he 307 or something?
Was he?
303.
Yeah, so I think in kilos, I think he got to like 137. What's that?
So 140, I believe, is 308.
Yeah. Okay. So he was around that 307 mark.
Okay.
And he looked bloated, massive.
Yeah.
For Devon, you know.
It looked like his cheeks were like full of peanuts or something.
He looked like a gerbil. I look like a snowman.
So,
and he looks like a gerbil. So yeah, it's a spirit animal.
Both of you guys, did you get a picture together?
We didn't. We were similar.
You
Side on. I mean,
Yep.
that's what I'm working with. Side on. Not a bad look, really.
There he is.
Neil?
Yo.
All right, but
What's up? What's up?
Yeah. And Philip Larson's in the house?
we were literally just talking about that kid.
Look at that flag right there.
We are being
Just
great.
living,
Be
be great.
We're getting huge. We're training right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's up? What is your current body weight at, Devon?
I can still sit in the front seat, Brian.
Can you? You can.
Still fit. Right?
Jody is not happy.
The good thing is someone else needs to drive him around for a while because he's too big.
I'm right in that front seat
I'll-
with you, buddy. I'm right.
Hey man, I'll keep the seat warm whenever you want to come. All right.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're doing good. I'm just gonna. I look like I'm holding 3.
Nice. That's great, man. That is great.
Yeah.
You feel it. You feel good. You feel good though.
I do. I do feel good.
Yeah.
Like I definitely have to do cardio now, but I feel great.
Nice.
Super strong. Super strong.
so what's the deal with letting Rolly Ray in your house? What's that about? You know he's.
Yeah, what's that, right? I told Ray, I said, listen, you're welcome to come here. I said, but if you want to live here, you have to be 250 pounds.
Man.
Yeah, you gotta. Has he got? He's holding 3.
There you go. He says holding it.
Holding 3 and feeling strong. The influence of hanging around with Brian Shaw has worked on him, pal.
Do you know that I sent him some Gigantor gainer
Did you?
from Undefined Nutrition?
Which is how many calories have we got in that? It's like.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But they're quality.
Yeah.
And so I told him it's quality and I sent it to him.
And it's worked.
And it's worked.
And he's now the biggest Devon Larratt
And strongest.
and strongest Devon we've ever seen.
Ridiculous.
So you too sort yourself out. You know what you need to do right now?
Yeah.
You need to get online and you need to order some Giganta, because if you don't do that, what the f are you thinking about? Do you think you can just roll up and turn into a strength icon? No, you cannot.
I don't think so.
Tell
it's
him,
not.
Brian.
Yep. It doesn't work like that.
It simply does not work like that. There's a route, and you got to follow that route. You know what that route
You
is?
need to have your shaker full. Okay?
Order
We got pre-workout going.
Yep.
And I'm ready to get better. So
What we're going to do right now. Keep watching, guys, because something's going down.
we're about ready to go out and be great.
You know, when an earthquake
Did you see that
starts.
flag? Did you see that flag?
That was amazing, wasn't it?
Be great.
That's what it said.
Just on the ceiling. Living,
Be great.
great. Right? That came in the package with a Gigantor.
And he's taken it to heart. He thought,
Yeah.
you know what? This guy made me the biggest and strongest I've ever been.
It's ridiculous.
Get the flag up there.
It's ridiculous.
Let's have another Gigantor.
Get
Get on
some.
the tape. Listen, guys, you know when an earthquake starts and you get those little precursory rumbles. Well, right now, in Colorado, the earth is moving, mother. Oh, yeah. Let's go!
Hope you guys enjoyed that. For now, go out and be great. We'll check you guys later.